Did you know that from Italy, an empire once ruled across 3 continents and over 1/5 of humanity, that within its land stands the smallest country on Earth, Vatican City, or that beneath its hills and mountains lie underground cities carved by ancient civilizations? Italy is far more than pasta and Renaissance art. It's a land of hidden wonders, timeless landscapes, and geographic secrets few truly know. Get ready, because today you'll discover 50 astonishing facts about Italy that will change the way you see this extraordinary country. 50. The Leaning Tower isn't the only leaning tower in Italy. While Pisa's famous Campanile is the icon of architectural imbalance, Italy has at least 7 leaning towers, each tilting for different geological reasons. Pisa leans due to unstable subsoil made of clay and sand. But towers like Bologna's Asinelli and Garisenda lean because of centuries of structural settling and mismatched foundations. The fact that an entire country hosts such a collection of tilted monuments reveals Italy's complex underground composition, full of soft sediments deposited over millennia by rivers and ancient seas, turning the land into a subtle, unpredictable platform that keeps engineers humble and tourists fascinated. 49. Italy has the most UNESCO World Heritage Sites in the world. Italy's geography is interwoven with human history so tightly that no other country has more locations officially declared of outstanding universal value. From Venice's lagoon ecosystem to the ancient stone structures of the Val Camonica, Italy's diverse landscapes protect an unmatched tapestry of natural and cultural treasures. Even regions often overshadowed by Rome or Florence, like Puglia or Piedmont, host UNESCO areas that blend dramatic coastlines, prehistoric rock art, and mountain ecosystems, all showing how geography carved a cradle for civilizations to thrive. 48. Mount Etna is one of the most active volcanoes on Earth. Located on Sicily's eastern coast, Etna erupts frequently, sometimes multiple times per year, due to its position at the edge of the African and Eurasian tectonic plates. Its lava flows have shaped surrounding towns, rejuvenated soils ideal for vineyards, and built a landscape so rich and fertile that local agriculture depends on the very volcano that sometimes threatens it. What makes Etna even more remarkable is its size. It's Europe's tallest active volcano, dominating Sicily like a fiery guardian. 47. Italy has a microstate inside and another surrounded by it. 2 independent nations exist completely within Italian borders, San Marino and Vatican City. San Marino clings to a mountaintop with a medieval layout shaped by the Apennines, while Vatican City is tucked into a small corner of Rome, shaped by the ancient geography of the Tiber floodplain. Very few countries on Earth contain even one microstate, let alone 2 with distinct political histories and landscapes, all packed inside Italy's diverse terrain. 46. The Alps protect Italy's climate like a natural barrier. Italy's northern border is shielded by the massive Alpine Arc, which blocks icy winds from Central Europe. This barrier is not only majestic but functional. It creates the mild Mediterranean climate that allows olives, citrus, and grapes to flourish, even at latitudes that would otherwise be much colder. Without the Alps, Italy's agricultural identity, and even the stereotypical Italian landscape, would be unrecognizable. Before continuing, be sure to subscribe and leave a like to become an expert on the geography of our world. 45. Venice is slowly sinking, but also rising. Venice's sinking is old news, but fewer people know that the land beneath the lagoon is also being slowly uplifted by geological forces. While subsidence from groundwater extraction accelerated the city's descent in the last century, natural tectonic movement in the Adriatic microplate is pushing parts of the region upward. The coexistence of these opposite forces creates a delicate equilibrium that makes Venice's survival a constant negotiation between nature and human engineering. 44. Italy has a ghost strait that separates 2 very different seas. The Strait of Messina, between Sicily and the mainland, isn't just a narrow channel, it's a meeting point of 2 seas with different densities, temperatures, and currents. This clash creates whirlpools and shimmering optical illusions described since ancient myths of Charybdis and Scylla. The strait's unique water dynamics have shaped marine life and coastal settlements, turning a tiny geographic gap into one of the Mediterranean's most fascinating natural laboratories. 43. The Po Valley is one of the most fertile plains in Europe. Stretching across northern Italy, the Po Valley is an agricultural powerhouse thanks to the Po River's nutrient-rich sediments deposited over thousands of years. Surrounded by mountains on 3 sides, the valley traps humidity and fog, creating a microclimate perfect for rice paddies, cornfields, and dairy production. Parmesan cheese, prosciutto, and many iconic Italian foods trace their origins to the unique geography of this plain. 42. Italy has thermal springs that date back to Roman times and still flow. The country sits atop a network of geothermal hotspots thanks to tectonic activity beneath the peninsula. Places like Saturnia in Tuscany or Bormio in Lombardy tap into natural hot springs that have been used for thousands of years. The minerals carried by underground volcanic channels shape not just wellness culture but also local ecosystems, creating environments rich in unusual flora and fauna. 41. Sicily was once connected to Africa. Geologically speaking, Sicily sits on the African tectonic plate, not the European one. Over millions of years, tectonic collisions pushed the island upward from the seabed, creating its mountainous backbone. This deep connection explains why Sicily experiences more earthquakes and volcanic activity than mainland Italy, forming some of the Mediterranean's most dramatic landscapes. 40. Italy has more coastline than almost any other European country. Italy's boot-shaped form stretches along more than 7,600 km of coastline, giving it a marine identity unmatched in Europe except for very few nations. From the cliffs of Amalfi to the beaches of Sardinia, the coastline varies wildly due to erosion, volcanic formations, and limestone cliffs sculpted by millennia of waves. This abundance of coastal ecosystems has shaped Italian culture around fishing, seafaring, and maritime trade since antiquity. 39. The Dolomites glow pink at sunset because of ancient marine fossils. The iconic Dolomite Mountains blush at dawn and dusk in a phenomenon called alpenglow. Their unique pinkish hue comes from their composition, ancient coral reefs from a prehistoric tropical sea. Over time, tectonic forces thrust these fossilized reefs thousands of meters upward, creating jagged peaks that look sculpted rather than carved by erosion alone. 38. A lake in Italy has an island with a lake that has an island. In the middle of Lake Orta, you'll find San Giulio Island, but Italy takes recursion to another level. The small Lake Bolsena in central Italy houses Bisantina Island, which contains ponds that behave like tiny lakes themselves. This multi-layered geography fascinates geologists studying volcanic crater lakes and the way water shapes, and is shaped by calderas and extinct volcanoes. 37. Italy has a floating mountain range. The Apennines, running like a spine down the center of the peninsula, are not anchored solidly to a stable foundation. They're part of a slow-moving chain still rising and shifting due to tectonic compression. Some peaks grow a few millimeters per year, meaning Italy's topography is literally changing within our lifetimes. 36. The Amalfi Coast exists thanks to a dramatic geological collapse. This world-famous coastline was created when a massive section of land collapsed into the sea tens of thousands of years ago, leaving behind steep cliffs that plunge into turquoise water. The breathtaking terraces and villages seen today cling to the remnants of this ancient geological event, shaping one of Italy's most recognizable landscapes. 35. Italy has one of the deepest canyons in Europe. Found in Calabria, the Raganello Gorge cuts dramatically through limestone mountains, forming one of the deepest and narrowest canyons in Europe. Carved by water over millions of years, it reveals geological layers that document the peninsula's entire tectonic history. 34. Sardinia has stone structures older than the pyramids. The island of Sardinia is covered with mysterious nuraghe, megalithic stone towers dating back to 1800 BCE. Their presence hints at a complex ancient civilization shaped by the island's rugged terrain, scarce water sources, and defensive hills. Geography not only influenced where people lived, it influenced an entire prehistoric architectural style. 33. A river in Italy flows through a perfect marble quarry. The Apuan Alps in Tuscany contain some of the purest marble in the world. Here, water flows through quarry channels carved by centuries of extraction, giving the illusion of rivers running through bright white stone. Michelangelo's David and countless Renaissance sculptures emerged from this unique geological treasure. 32. Italy has a natural pyramid made of hardened lava. Near Catania in Sicily lies Rocca della Valle, a nearly perfect pyramid formed by layers of ancient lava flows. Unlike human-made pyramids, this one formed naturally through repeated eruptions that stacked hardened lava into geometric precision, showcasing the artistic unpredictability of volcanoes. 31. Lake Garda has its own microclimate like a tiny Mediterranean Sea. Italy's largest lake has such a mild climate that olive trees grow unusually far north, thriving thanks to the lake's thermal mass that stores heat and releases it slowly. This creates a miniature Mediterranean environment surrounded by mountains, blending alpine and subtropical ecosystems in a single location. 30. Italy has an underwater city preserved by volcanic activity. Just off the coast of Naples lies Baiae, an ancient Roman resort town that now rests beneath the waves due to volcanic subsidence from the Campi Flegrei. The shifting ground slowly lowered parts of the coastline over centuries, submerging villas, mosaics, and entire streets. Today, underwater archaeologists explore a perfectly preserved snapshot of Roman luxury living, where geothermal vents still bubble around marble statues and thermal bath complexes built over fault lines. Baiae is a reminder that Italy's most glamorous destinations often sit on some of the planet's most unstable ground. 29. Tuscany has a desert that exists because of poisonous minerals. The Icona Desert in Tuscany looks nothing like the region's iconic vineyards and rolling hills. Instead, it's a barren, moon-like landscape created by a rare combination of clay soil, erosion, and mineral-rich deposits that inhibit plant life. For centuries, this natural badland formed as wind and rain carved deep gullies into the soft terrain. Locals once believed the land was cursed, but today geologists study it as a unique micro-desert in the heart of Europe, shaped entirely by unusual geological chemistry. 28. Italy has a lake that changes color dramatically. Lake Resia in South Tyrol is famous for its submerged bell tower, but its waters also undergo striking color changes depending on glacial melt and mineral content. In early summer, the influx of finely ground glacial sediments, called rock flour, turns the lake a milky turquoise. As the season advances and sediment levels drop, the water transitions to deep blue. The intense visual shifts reveal the lake's glacial origins and the ongoing dialogue between mountains and meltwater. 27. The toe of Italy has a river that vanishes into the ground. The Lau River in Calabria disappears into porous limestone formations before re-emerging downstream, creating a natural hydrological illusion. These karst systems form when acidic water dissolves limestone over thousands of years, carving tunnels and underground chambers. Explorers canoe through canyons where the river seems to dissolve into rock walls, only to find it resurfacing miles away. This disappearing act reveals the secret plumbing of Italy's southern mountains. 26. Italy has a valley so silent it alters your sense of time. Valle di Mello in Lombardy, surrounded by towering granite walls, absorbs sound in a way that creates an eerie stillness. The valley's shape and dense vegetation dampen noise, making even distant waterfalls sound muted. Geographers studying acoustic environments have measured unusually low sound levels here, explaining why visitors often report losing track of time. The valley's unusual silence results from natural acoustics sculpted by glacial activity. 25. The island of Elba has beaches made of shimmering iron. Elba's sands appear unusually dark and sparkling because the island is rich in hematite and magnetite, remnants of its ancient mining history and volcanic origins. These iron-heavy minerals were prized by the Etruscans and Romans, and today they color Elba's beaches with metallic tones that shift between silver, black, and deep red. The unique geology creates beaches that look more like volcanic coasts in Iceland than typical Mediterranean shorelines. 24. Italy has a mountain that sings when the wind passes through it. Monte Sibilla in the Apennines is known for mysterious humming sounds produced by specific wind conditions. Cavities and crevices within its limestone structure create natural resonators that vibrate like giant flutes. Shepherds have told legends about these voices for centuries, but scientists now attribute the phenomenon to aerodynamics interacting with the mountain's porous geology. It's a rare example of topography turning wind into sound. 23. The Italian lakes hide submerged forests from the Ice Age. Beneath Lake Ladro and parts of Lake Iseo lie preserved tree trunks dating back more than 10,000 years. Remnants of forests drowned as glacial lakes expanded. These submerged relics offer clues about changing climates and shifting water levels since the last Ice Age. Archaeologists also uncovered prehistoric pile dwellings near these lakes, showing how early humans adapted to rising waters with remarkable ingenuity. 22. Italy has a volcano that erupts sideways. Stromboli is famous for its constant eruptions, but nearby volcano has produced lateral eruptions, bursts of lava that explode sideways instead of vertically. This phenomenon occurs because pressure builds along inclined fracture lines in the volcanic cone. Sideways eruptions can be even more dangerous, sending pyroclastic flows racing horizontally across land or water. Italy's ability to host such unusual volcanic behavior makes it a global hotspot for geological studies. 21. A river in northern Italy creates natural stone cakes. In the region of Trentino, the Rio Sarca shapes circular stone formations called Marmite dei Giganti. These giant pots form when swirling meltwater from ancient glaciers rotated pebbles with so much force that they drilled smooth, perfectly round cavities into the bedrock. Some are several meters deep, showcasing the incredible mechanical power of water set in motion by ice. 20. Italy has a mud volcano field that looks like another planet. Near Modena, the Salse di Nirano spew cold mud instead of lava. These miniature volcanoes form when underground methane forces clay and salty water to the surface. The resulting landscape of bubbling cones and cracked mud resembles Martian terrain. The phenomenon is tied to deep geological compression beneath the Apennines, creating a rare environment where gas, sediment, and groundwater interact dramatically. 19. The Apulia region sits on ancient coral plateaus. Much of Apulia's flat landscape rests on limestone formed from fossilized corals and marine organisms. Millions of years ago, the region lay beneath a tropical sea, and the ancient seabed hardened into vast rock platforms. This explains the region's lack of mountains and its abundance of caves, sinkholes, and natural wells carved into soft limestone layers. 18. Italy has a lake that expands and shrinks in a rhythmic cycle. Lake Fucino, once one of Italy's largest lakes, was drained by the Romans, but remnants of its basin still experience seasonal breathing. Underground springs and karst systems cause temporary wetlands to form and disappear at different times of the year. Geological studies show that hidden aquifers beneath the basin expand and contract with rainfall and snowmelt, creating a living, shifting landscape. 17. A valley in Piedmont produces glacial winds that blow uphill. Valle d'Aosta experiences an unusual phenomenon where cold winds travel uphill rather than down. This happens because dense glacial air is channeled through narrow passes that force it against typical thermal patterns. The effect is so strong that local architecture historically oriented buildings to withstand these inverted mountain winds. 16. Italy has a region with naturally carbonated water springs. In Lazio and Tuscany, natural springs bubble with carbon dioxide produced by underlying volcanic systems. The gas dissolves into groundwater and emerges as naturally sparkling water, something the Romans considered a luxury. These springs often sit near dormant volcanic fields, where magma releases CO2 into deep aquifers. 15. Sardinia has beaches made of quartz that look like sugar. On Sardinia's Isurruta's beach, the sand is made of tiny quartz grains polished by thousands of years of wave action. The grains are round, translucent, and glimmer in the sun, resembling sugar crystals. This unique beach owes its existence to a rare geological deposit of nearly pure quartz eroded from ancient volcanic rocks. 14. Italy has an underground glacier hidden inside a mountain. In the Apuan Alps, the Antro del Corchia cave system holds ice formations that persist year-round despite the region's mild climate. Cold air trapped inside deep chambers preserves ice left over from colder periods, creating an underground glacier that behaves independently from surface temperatures. It's a window into past climates preserved in stone and ice. 13. There's a valley in Trentino, formed by a prehistoric meteorite. The Val di Non owes part of its unusual shape to a meteorite impact that fractured the region's limestone millions of years ago. While erosion later softened its contours, geological surveys still detect shocked minerals associated with extraterrestrial impacts. The valley's orchard-friendly terraces were shaped by this ancient collision combined with glacial sculpting. 12. Italy has a boiling beach with hot sand. On the island of Volcano, some beaches are so geothermally active that the sand can reach dangerously high temperatures. Steam vents heat the ground just beneath the surface, creating patches where stepping barefoot is nearly impossible. This phenomenon occurs because magma lies unusually unusually close to the surface, heating groundwater that rises through cracks and mixes with the shoreline. 11. A mountain in Sicily constantly changes color. Monte Conca in central Sicily displays shifting tones of red, yellow, and orange due to high sulfur content and continuous exposure to oxygen and humidity. As minerals oxidize, the mountain visually transforms, creating a living palette of geological reactions. This natural color-changing effect reflects the island's volcanic roots and the chemical legacy left by ancient eruptions. Before moving on to the top 10, remember to join the geography family by subscribing to the channel and leaving your like. 10. Italy has a hidden valley where earthquakes reveal the landscape's ancient secrets. The Fucino Basin in central Italy may look like a peaceful agricultural plain today, but its flatness hides a story of violent tectonic shifts. Once a massive lake, it was drained in the 19th century, but the land beneath is still shaped by faults that constantly reshape the region. Seismic studies show that the entire valley sits on a patchwork of fractured crust created by millions of years of stretching and compressing between the Apennines. When earthquakes occur, even small ones, scientists use surface ruptures to read the geological diary stored underground, revealing layers of sediments deposited from the ancient lake, volcanic ash from distant eruptions, and even traces of Ice Age climate cycles. The Fucino Basin is one of the best natural laboratories for understanding how Italy's mountains rise and fall over time. 9. Italy's deepest cave system contains an underground river as powerful as a surface one. The Abisso Paolo Roversi cave system in the Apuan Alps stretches more than a kilometer underground, but what makes it remarkable is the river that rushes through its depths. Fed by rainwater filtered through limestone and by hidden springs emerging from fractured marble, the underground river has carved cathedral-like chambers and polished tunnels over tens of thousands of years. Explorers describe the sound of the water as echoing like thunder in the pitch-black abyss. This subterranean river is so strong during storms that entrance points can flood within minutes. Geologists believe it contributes to the region's frequent sinkholes and the slow dissolution of the mountains themselves. In Italy, water doesn't just shape the landscape above, sometimes it sculpts entire worlds below. 8. The Sella Massif in the Dolomites is a geological time machine. The Sella Massif, an enormous plateau surrounded by vertical cliffs, contains rock layers that reveal more than 200 million years of Earth's history. Each layer corresponds to a different environment the region once held: shallow seas filled with corals, volcanic islands, collapsing ocean floors, and even periods of complete drought. What makes the Sella so extraordinary is the perfection of its vertical walls, which expose these layers like pages in a book. Scientists use this massif as a reference to understand how the ancient Tethys Ocean closed, giving birth to the Alps. Hikers are literally walking on coral reefs fossilized and uplifted thousands of meters above sea level, an impossible landscape that only Italy's chaotic tectonics could create. Few places on Earth make geological time feel so physical and visible. 7. Italy has a valley where mountains move faster than anywhere else in Europe. The Friuli region near the border with Slovenia contains mountain slopes that shift at speeds shocking even to geomorphologists. Landslides here occur not every few decades, but continually, with entire mountainsides creeping downward by centimeters each year. The region sits on unstable flysch, a mix of soft sandstone and clay that crumbles easily under rain and seismic activity. The 1976 Friuli earthquake reshaped entire ridges, revealing just how dynamic this landscape is. Today, satellite monitoring shows that certain slopes still move even on dry days. Villages have had to relocate, roads continually crack, and forests tilt slowly as the ground beneath them slides millimeter by millimeter. Italy's geography isn't just dramatic, it's constantly in motion. 6. A giant, submerged mountain chain lies beneath the Tyrrhenian Sea. Few people know that west of Italy, underwater ridges rise thousands of meters from the seafloor, forming a hidden extension of the Apennines beneath the Tyrrhenian Sea. These underwater mountains were created by the same tectonic forces that built mainland Italy, but instead of towering into the sky, they collapsed downward as the seafloor opened behind the retreating subduction zone. The Marsili Seamount is the tallest of them, an active underwater volcano larger than Mount Etna, sitting silently beneath 3,500 meters of water. Its flanks contain sulfur chimneys chimneys, lava domes, and hydrothermal vents that support bizarre deep-sea life. Italy doesn't just have volcanoes on land, it hides some of its most powerful ones underwater. 5. Italy has a river delta that behaves like a living creature. The Po Delta, one of Europe's largest, grows and shrinks in a pattern that mimics biological systems. Sediments carried from the Alps and Apennines form new land at the mouth, while storms and rising sea levels erode it away. The delta's shape has changed dramatically even in the last 200 years, shifting from narrow channels to broad fans depending on flood patterns and human interventions. Satellite images reveal that the delta pulses outward during wet years and retreats during dry ones, giving it a rhythm almost like breathing. The mixing of fresh water with Adriatic seawater creates shifting lagoons, mud flats, and sandbars that support rare bird species and fisheries. The Po Delta is not merely a landscape, it's a self-organizing system in constant evolution. 4. Italy's highest active geothermal field could power entire cities. In the hills of Tuscany lies the Larderello geothermal field, one of the most powerful natural steam reservoirs on Earth. Steam escaping through cracks in the crust was known to the Etruscans, but today Larderello produces enough geothermal electricity to power almost 1 million homes. What makes it unique is its origin. The region sits above a rare geological setup where superheated fluids accumulate in fractured metamorphic rocks capped by impermeable clay layers. The pressure is so intense that steam erupts naturally in geysers if not extracted. This geothermal field shows how Italy's volcanic roots extend far beyond visible volcanoes. Deep beneath the countryside, the earth still boils. 3. A massive buried canyon lies beneath Rome's Tiber River. Beneath the modern Tiber River flows an ancient, much deeper canyon carved during a time when sea levels were hundreds of meters lower. This hidden canyon, discovered through drilling and seismic surveys, reaches depths of over 70 meters below the current riverbed. When the Ice Age ended and sea levels rose, the canyon filled with sediments, creating the wide floodplain Rome stands on today. This explains why Rome has such deep archaeological layers. Every new civilization built on top of silt, deposited by floods filling the ancient canyon. The river we see today is just the latest chapter of a much older and more dramatic landscape. 2. Italy has a mountain plateau shaped by megafloods from the Ice Age. The Castelluccio Plateau in Umbria, famous for its colorful flower fields, owes its existence to ancient megafloods that carved the surrounding basin. 0. As glaciers melted at the end of the last ice age, enormous volumes of water rushed through the valleys, smoothing the floor of the basin and creating natural levees that still influence seasonal lakes today. The plateau is actually a closed depression, meaning water has no escape route except by slowly filtering underground through limestone. This unique hydrology creates temporary lakes after heavy rains, turning the landscape into a massive natural mirror. The plateau's serene beauty hides the chaotic, violent processes that sculpted it. 1. Italy's Calabrian coast holds a submerged canyon deeper than the Grand Canyon. Just off the coast of Calabria lies the Gioia Canyon, a submarine gorge more than 3,000 meters deep, far deeper than the Grand Canyon on land. This underwater chasm was carved by ancient rivers when sea levels were drastically lower, and it continues to grow due to powerful turbidity currents that rush down the continental slope like underwater avalanches. The canyon influences local currents, nutrient flows, and even fish migration patterns, making it a crucial ecological corridor. Its immense scale proves that some of Italy's most dramatic landscapes are invisible from the surface, hidden beneath the waters of the Tyrrhenian Sea. Now that you know these 50 facts about Italy, tell us, which one did you like the most, or which one surprised you the most? We'd love to read your opinion in the comments and see how many of us picked the same number. And something else many of us will probably agree on is watching the video I'm leaving on screen, because we all love sharing and learning interesting facts. And that's exactly what this video is all about. But before you watch it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give it a like. Otherwise, we might not see each other again.